Hello and welcome to News Central Now. I am Dakbo Adigboye. The top stories at this hour. Court grants EFCC permission to freeze over 1,000 suspicious bank accounts. IPMAN blames outdated and abandoned pipelines for shortage of petrol across the country. Magistrates threaten to down tools over pay gap in South Africa. Details in a moment. The Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission on Monday released an order on the deregulation of prices for meters deployed under the Meter Asset Provider Scheme. The NERC said the prices of meters were deregulated after meter asset providers and other operators requested a further review of meter prices in consideration of the significant changes in foreign exchange and inflation rates since the last price review of the prices of meters by the NERC in September 2023. It said the significant changes to these macroeconomic variables had constrained the abilities of meter providers to supply meters at the approved regulated prices. Let's also tell you that some, judicial stories have it that Justice Emeka Nwite of the Federal High Court in Nigeria's capital Abuja has granted the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission an interim order to freeze 1,146 bank accounts. These accounts belong to individuals and companies being investigated for alleged offenses bordering on unauthorized dealing in forex exchange, money laundering, and terrorism financing. A judge ordered that the accounts be frozen pending conclusion of investigation. The judge further stated that there was need to preserve the funds in the identified bank accounts pending conclusion of investigation and possible prosecution. Judge Nwite adjourned the matter to July 23, 2024 for mention. The immediate past governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele, on Monday challenged the jurisdiction of an Ikeja Special Offences Court to try him on the charges made against him by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission. He was arraigned by the anti-graft body for alleged abuse of office and multi-billion-dollar fraud. Now, Olalekan Ojo appeared for Emefiele, while Kazeem Gbadabonsi appeared for his co-defendant, Henry Isioma Omoli. Ojo asked Justice Rahman Oshodi that the court lacked the necessary legal foundation, that's a constitutional jurisprudence, to hear the charges against his client. But the counsel to the EFCC, Rotimi Oyedepo, opposed Emefiele's contentions, urging the court to dismiss the defense application as it was a course to delayed justice.
First defendant, that is the former CBN governor, filed an application challenging the jurisdiction of the court, that is High Court of Lagos State, to try the charges against him, particularly the charges in counts 1 to 4, which relate to alleged abuse of office by the former CBN governor while he was in office. We were humbly of the view that a jurisdictional challenge of that nature, which was not a challenge to the validity of the charge or information, should be determined first.
As part of efforts towards enhancing administration of justice in Nigeria's northeast, Borno State government, in collaboration with the Center for Social Legal Studies, organized a capacity-building course on the administration of criminal justice law. The course aims to unite all stakeholders involved in the justice system, foster collaboration and coordination in the once insurgency-ravaged state. Now, News Central's Imaru Kirawa completes the report.
A state recovering from the ashes of conflict in Nigeria's northeast, Borno is building on the peace as normalcy gradually returns. In recognition of the importance of a well-functioning justice system that instills public confidence and upholds the rule of law, the state government brought together stakeholders to equip them with the necessary knowledge and skills to effectively apply the provisions of the criminal justice law of Borno State.
There's nothing better than capacity building in the judicial system. The sine qua non, we shall motivate them. I'm aware of some of the lapses that we have. Equipment and all that is needed in order to drive the process of speedy dispensation of justice has to be done.
The capacity building course will cover a wide range of topics, including criminal law principles, investigation techniques, case management, fair trial rights, and the use of technology in evidence collection and presentation.
Some of these are ways ahead of the provisions in the Federal Administration of Criminal Justice Act.
I definitely have the conviction that at the end of our tenure in office, Nigerians will start reaping the benefits of the renewed hope agenda of this government. Let us be guided by the principle of integrity, professionalism, and respect for the rights of all individuals.
The Administration of Criminal Justice Law seeks to unite all stakeholders of criminal justice administration, lawyers and non-lawyers alike.
We are going to work with the Borno State as well as those committee members that the Ministry of Justice have put together.
By uniting all stakeholders, the state aims to create a harmonized justice system that benefits its citizens.
Our client will be happy because there will be no time wasting in the administration of criminal justice in law as far as this law is concerned.
It's still new to us, so when this workshop is conducted, we will have the major takeaway in the workshop because the application of the law is going to be very, very easy.
It's a major shift from the traditional CPC that law officers and other lawyers are used to.
We have been rated #1 continuously, but that doesn't mean we will stop. That is why we are still even adopting new laws to make it even faster.
Some personalities were awarded as criminal justice champion for their efforts in improving Nigeria's justice system. In Maiduguri for News Central, Umori Kirawa.
The scarcity of premium motor spirit, also known as petrol, continues to linger as frustrated Nigerians wait endless hours in queues trying to get the product. Reacting to this, the Public Relations Officer of the Independent Marketers Association of Nigeria, IPMAN Chinedu Ukadike, spoke to News Central's program, The Conversation. He attributed the scarcity to outdated and abandoned pipeline infrastructure.
When I called on President Mohamed Tinubu to declare a state of emergency in our refineries and our pipelines, I made it very, very clear that most of our pipelines are obsolete, and those pipelines have been abandoned for so many years. These are the only things that can be able to quickly sell products. If our pipelines are working, why is the truck traveling almost 3 or 5 days to get product to Aba Depot, Yola Depot, Ilori Depot, and all the rest of them? So our pipelines are bad. A lot of vendors are fishing on those pipelines, and you see, some security agencies are not doing little or much, to protect those pipelines so that the government can use those pipelines to transport petroleum products.
News Central's correspondent, Idan Joseph, now joins me from Abuja to give the situation report over there. Idan Joseph, thank you for joining. Now, can you bring us up to speed exactly what's happening?
Okay, over here in Abuja, it's been raining cat and dog here, but even if you look behind me, we are at one of the petrol stations here in Abuja. And if you could remember, for over a week now, motorists in the Federal Capital Territory have had a nightmare trying to get petrol from the few filling stations that had this product to sell. And this morning, we went around the city because we noticed that the queue has reduced. But even when we went around, we noticed that even this reduction in the queue is not really due to availability of the product, which has been an issue for the past 1 week. It's because so many motorists in the city have become so frustrated over the situation, and some of them have even packed up their cars, and they've even resorted to using commercial transport service. And it will interest you to know that those who use commercial transport service here in the city, even have to face more of this burden that motorists face, because now the price for their transport fare is quite 2 times of previous price. And over here, just much, but the price, they still spend long hours trying to get fuel.
Idam Joseph, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I don't know if you heard what I said.
Okay, we did, but it appeared like we lost connection with you for a while. Now, you talked about people trying to adapt to the current situation and having to abandon their cars and, of course, use the public transportation system with the price of that also, having doubled. Now, my question is this. Have you been able to get any reason as to why, if at all, many of these filling stations are not dispensing? You said it's not as a result of availability, so to speak. So what other factors are responsible?
Yes, the availability, yeah, right, yes, rather availability. Yes, we've tried to walk around to ask the reasons why some of these stations have to lock their petrol stations. And some of the reasons we got was that they don't have the product. But some motorists are insisting that most of them that lock their stations is actually not because they don't have the product, but because of some rumor they've gotten that the price of the product is going to be stepped down, and some of them are scared that if that happens, it means they will have to be on the loser side.
All right, Idam Joseph, thank you so much for being on the news, and please stay dry. Now, Nigeria's federal government is set to embark on a series of town hall meetings as part of its engagement with citizens to get a first-hand view of their current challenges in a view to addressing them. Now, this was revealed by the Minister of Information and National Orientation as he met with representatives of the National Orientation Agency in Abuja. News Central's Amadine Uyi tells us more.
The team met with the Minister of Information and National Orientation, updating the ministry on initiatives and dialogues embarked by the National Orientation Agency with Nigerians and communities at the grassroots.
Going to our communities, we fetch the information, their grievances, what they expect of the government, and we take it back to the federal government level through the MPAs, and we relate the issues of delivery back to the people. And then we take communication from the top and take it down, breaking it down in indigenous languages and various forms of communication. Basically, that's what we're here to build synergy between the ministry, because we can't work in silos. We are community engagement, we can hear feedback. We also want to take the feedback from the federal government down to the communities to also hear their own views about what we're doing so that we can all collaborate and have a better.
The minister commended them for their efforts, saying that there's a need to build trust with the Nigerian populace.
You cannot build trust when you tell people what they know to be obviously not true. It is the idea of this administration, particularly this ministry, to build trust that we think has actually gone away between the Nigerian public and their leaders. Once that trust is lost, it becomes very difficult for government to communicate honestly and responsibly.
He says that the ministry has already concluded plans to embark on a series of town hall meetings to get first-hand information from citizens as part of efforts to get their true situation and respond to their plight.
Very soon, the National Communications team will go to other parts of the country to engage with Nigerians, to tell them what government is doing, to relate to them the programs and activities of government in a way that they will understand, and to also take feedback from them. If there are areas where they don't feel comfortable, we bring this feedback to government. And Mr. President is a listening president. Here is the president that always has the interest of Nigerians at heart. Whenever there is a policy that he feels needs to be changed, the president will change it.
The minister pledged to work with the agency to help fulfill their obligations to government. In Abuja for News Central, I am Amadine Uyi.
We'll go on a quick break now. When we return, we have more stories. Stay with us. The Joint Admission and Matriculation Board has announced the release of the 2024 Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination results. JAMB Registrar Professor Ishaq Oloyede made this announcement during a press conference in Abuja. He explained that out of 1.9 million candidates who registered for the exam, only 1.9 million sat for it, while 80,810 were absent. However, he noted that the board is withholding the results of 64,624 candidates for further investigation. Professor Oloyede advised candidates to check their results by sending UTME result to either 55019 or 66019 via SMS starting from today.
Out of the 1,989 CCCA candidates who registered, 1,989,668, 80,810 were absent. So a total of 1,904,189 sat for it within 6 days. Therefore, 64,624 results are under investigation. 95 centers experienced hiccups of disrupting only 150 of 9,156 sessions. In 2024, we have 49.4% of male and 50.6% of female. That is, of the figure that I've earlier on told you, 1,989,668, 1,007,275 were female, and the male less than 1 million. Something to say particularly candidate is the highest scorer when the totality of the score had not been made. However, owing to public demand and to avoid a repeat of the Mesoma saga, as well as provide a guide for those who may want to award prizes against our advice to those set of high-performing candidates, the board appealed to the concerned to always verify the claim by candidates before offering.
To ensure a decent work environment that will motivate workers to perform optimally and increase their productivity, stakeholders in Abuja have called on government and employers of labor to put the right facilities in place that will guarantee workplace safety. This was as stakeholders gathered to mark the 2024 World Day for Safety at the instance of the Department of Occupational Safety and Health, Federal Ministry of Labor and Employment. News Central's Marvelous Obomanu tells us more.
In busy workplaces like warehouses, factories, construction sites, and hospitals, employees can be put at risk by sustaining injuries in the course of doing their jobs. It is therefore the responsibility of not just the employer, but the employee and the government to ensure that the work environment is safe for operations.
Occupational safety is everyone's business because it has to do with human life. The Federal Minister of Labor and Employment here at this event is engaging stakeholders on the need to ensure a safe, secure and healthy environment for workers.
It's a responsibility of everyone, both government, employers and workers. The government has a responsibility to provide infrastructures and services, while the employers have the responsibility to provide conducive work environment, or what we say decent work environment for workers.
It is also important to think about the workers' nutrition, which guarantees productivity and efficiency.
We believe that the way forward is to support employers to be able to implement workforce nutrition programs that would help their workers' productivity and efficiency. So you want your workers to be efficient at work, you want them to be productive, you want them to not have increased accidents at work, you want to prioritize healthy food at work for them, because workers spend 1/3 of their time at work. They spend 8 hours at work. A worker that does not consume healthy food or nutritious food might fall ill easily.
Also, climate change has added to the burden of Nigerian workers as some work under extreme weather conditions directly under the sun and for longer periods of time.
There is a change in weather causing a lot of flooding and droughts. And we have the global warming, increase in temperature.
We cannot allow our workers to be exposed to extreme heat because of outdoor work. We know quite well if you go to industries, go to forestry, go to agriculture, go to construction companies, even manufacturing, you see so many workers that are working outside, straight and direct under the sun. So we have to begin to see how we create shaded, areas for them.
Some companies are not even meeting up. It's when they see that there is government agencies coming around, they've started running helter-skelter, of which is a very big concern to the whole society. You understand? In that particular point, you don't need to deceive yourself. Safety is supposed to be 100% caution.
A safe working environment guarantees efficiency, productivity, and impacts greatly on the economy. Hence, the need for government to prioritize the health and safety of its workforce. In Abuja for News Central, Marvelous Obomano.
In politics, the popular assertion that the southeast geopolitical zone of Nigeria is the stronghold of the People's Democratic Party is being questioned by recent political developments within the zone, a zone which in 1999 was under the total control of the People's Democratic Party. Currently, the PDP only boasts of one state in the zone. Some say the condition of the once powerful party in Nigeria is a trial of the defeat of the party suffered in 2015. Now, News Central's Chinwe Ugele in this report takes a look at the current state of the party and what lies in store for it in the political landscape of the nation.
In 2015, for the first time in Nigeria, the People's Democratic Party lost grip of power at the center and became the major opposition party. Though still in control of sizable number of states across the country, it continued to trudge on amidst monumental errors which it went to the polls with in 2023. The party's fortune depleted even more after the 2023 elections, which saw it lose grip of more states, districts and constituencies in the southeast. It is not yet 1 year into the present administration, yet a lot of prominent members of the party have resigned their membership.
In our state in particular, how many meetings have they called in line with rebranding or whatever we call it? But in all, there seems to be no agreement between the blocs. And me personally, and for one, I'm a man of peace. I've put in many years in PDP, and I think it's time is right for me to move on.
What is happening in the Southeast, for instance, should not have happened. Or even Nigeria. You lost the election, it's taking you nearly 1 year to convene a NEC meeting.
The Abia State Vice Chairman and spokesman of the People's Democratic Party, Ama Abraham, in a press statement described the exit of some of the members as a necessary step towards creating a reinvigorated political landscape that is free from the inertia of the past and embraces the promise of a brighter future. A chieftain of the party and former secretary to the Abia State government, Ralph Ebu, says only the weak give in to the pressure of the moment while advising his party to rebuild with the right people.
PDP is a conservative bloc of the Nigerian political class, so it will not significantly remove from what the party will be. Yes, it's disturbing, but I don't see PDP going down for reasons that people leave or will leave or left, no.
The PDP was dealt a big blow in 2023 when it lost in all the 5 Southeast states to Labour Party, with one of their former members as the presidential candidate.
If I were them, I would seek alliance with, I would go repent and seek alliance with Petroleum.
There are insinuations that more prominent members of the party will soon leave, even as majority of the resigned members are yet to make their next political move known to the people. In Omar Hefoni Central, Chinwe Ugele.
In Nigeria, some are of the view that journalism is at the core of the country's development. The government and private enterprises are making sure that the growth of journalism is not shunned. They are doing this in very innovative ways. Now, News Central's Chidimma Ona provides more details in this report.
Journalism in Nigeria and the world is constantly changing. With the growing involvement of technology, it is only normal that a media house catch up to these developments. This is why more enterprises like the Kensington Adebutu Resource Media Center are setting up projects dedicated to supporting journalists.
The purpose has said it is going to impact positively on journalism. It's going to improve whatever they are learning. I mean, when you say resource center, resource means a place you go for research and improve on whatever you are doing. Definitely, it's going to better the loss of journalism in Nigeria.
Super resource center to impact skills and make better the best that we already produce. If you empower the press here, you empower democracy and you build a better society.
This project will serve as a center that offers a range of resources to enhance journalism and empower reporters.
I think that the establishment of this would help students to be more exposed. Some of the things I had, of course, they are unofficial, but some of the things that I had that would be done here, of course, would bring exposure to the students and would make the students get better.
So it's going to be something that is going to be very beneficial to the students, for the incoming student, and for us, so that we're leaving and hopefully coming back for our PGD, or maybe for our PGD too.
Okay, it's a resource center, which means that upon completion, students will have access to research documents and a facility generally where they can improve their learning in communication and journalism, of course. On a broad spectrum, I think the journalism as a profession in Nigeria can be improved or can gain new heights if more support are given to the profession in terms of human capacity building, facility development, and also education too, because we can only name just a few institutions that are concentrated to journalism education, like NIJ. There are not too many that can boast of being laser focused on training the future journalists in Nigeria.
In all, purpose-built facilities and workshops will provide comprehensive workspaces and vital tools for reporters across Nigeria.
Let's move to security matters now, where some Delta communities in South Nigeria have come under attacks by suspected herdsmen, leaving many dead and farmers denied access to their farmlands. News Central's correspondent Austin Azu, who visited one of the communities, completes this report.
Recently, residents of Oteruwo community in the Ika Northeast local government area of Delta State raised alarm over the activities of suspected herdsmen in their area. The story is not quite different at Abavo community in the Ika South local government area of the state.
Dark cloud has besieged the family house of B.A. Samuel, the vigilante chairman in Uterumu in the Ika Northeast local government area, who was murdered by suspected herdsmen in the community. But meanwhile, the elders have conversed here to deliberate on what transpired that had led to the death of their son.
Our son, Mr. Chukweku B.A. Samuel, the chairman of Uterumu Vigilante, died because there was an information that the kidnappers, the Fulani herdsmen, were shooting sporadically along the road, killing people inside the box. After that, they ran away into the bush. Then our late brother, Beye Samuel Chukweku, organized his members They ran to the scene and entered the bush in order to comb the kidnappers. They divided themselves in group. Unknowingly to him, he was moving. He did not know that the kidnappers have already seen him because they were in the bush and they were going. All of a sudden, he received a bullet shot on one side of his chest. He gave out the ghost.
Wife of the deceased, mother of 10 children who couldn't control her tears, seek justice for her murdered husband.
This is not the first that I've been killing others, but my husband is paying me. Not let me go stay here, both night and afternoon. I don't know what to do, nowhere to start. I want you people to help me. Both my children, they never get anything. Myself, no way to start. As I am there now, I'm crying. I want you people to help me.
Some elders spoke on the recurrent activities of the suspected herdsmen terrorizing their areas despite their protest to the State Commissioner of Police and other relevant authorities.
We are not happy at all of how the herdsmen are terrorizing the village. In fact, we no longer go to farm. Our palm trees are rotten. Nothing at all. Nothing is happening in the community. Hunger has taken over. So we want to appeal to the government to come to our aid so that all these things will stop.
Oto community in Delta State is one of the various communities that has been experiencing insecurity of suspected herdsmen attacking their farmers and depriving them access to their farms. There's urgent need from the government to ensure that these agrarian communities are being protected to guarantee food security and provide sufficient job opportunities for the people. In Uteru, in the Car Northeast local government area of Delta State, Austin Azu.
The United States has pledged continued support to Nigeria in its fight against terrorism and other security threats. This assurance comes during the 6th session of the Nigeria-U.S. Binational Commission held in Abuja on Monday. The U.S. Deputy Secretary of State, Kurt Campbell, delivered the message through Assistant Secretary of African Affairs, Moni Fee. Fee emphasized the importance of security cooperation between the two nations, as she said that the U.S. is committed to helping Nigeria build a stronger, more professional and accountable security force. She underlined the importance of respecting human rights and fundamental freedoms, including those of religious minorities. Coming up on the news, counting underway after polls close in key parliament ballot. We have details of this and more after the break. Still in the West, counting is underway after the Togolese vote calmly to elect deputies and regional councillors. Now, the ballot came after lawmakers this month approved a constitutional reform creating a new prime minister-style post opponents believe is tailored for President Faure Nasigbe to avoid presidential term limits and stay in office. The ruling Union for the Republic Party is widely expected to win a majority of the 113 seats being contested in the National Assembly. The party currently dominates parliament, having almost 65% of the seats. According to National Independent Electoral Commission, the final result from the polls will be released within a week. Mali says a senior Islamic State commander who had a $5 million bounty on his head has been killed by forces including troops from Mali, Burkina Faso and Niger. Abu Huzaifa has been linked to several high-profile raids in the Sahel region. This includes a 2017 attack which killed 4 American soldiers and several troops from Niger. The terrorist, who also is known as Higo, was described by the report on Mali State TV as a Moroccan national and a commander in IS self-styled Sahel province. It said he was killed on Sunday in an operation in the northern town of Indamin in the Naka region, describing it as a victory against the bane of evil. The remains of 45 Botswana nationals who perished in the horrific bus crash in Limpopo, South Africa over Easter are set to be airlifted to Botswana. The bus, which was traveling from Botswana to an Easter pilgrim in Limpopo, caught fire and burnt to ashes, killing 45 persons. The sole survivor of the accident is an 8-year-old since recovering from home after spending days in a hospital. Now, for the past weeks, authorities have been working hard to identify the victims, with some bodies burnt beyond recognition. Magistrates in South Africa have threatened to go on strike over the judicial pay gap between magistrates and judges. According to the association representing 800 magistrates, it says its members want the pay gap to be closed. For the past years, magistrates have not received an increment. According to the Association of Regional Magistrates of South Africa, the association emphasized that their roles and duties have changed since 2008, and for that, they will also be suing the Commission and the President. South African cancer patients, activists together with health workers, have taken to the streets of Johannesburg, demanding the Department of Health to spend 784 million rand set aside by the Gauteng Treasury in March 2023 to outsource radiation oncology services for over 3,000 patients who are currently on the backlog list. The cancer crisis in Gauteng is driven by severe shortages of both operational radiation oncology equipment and staff within the public sector. This is particularly evident at the Steve Biko Academic Hospital and the Charlotte Mozeke Johannesburg Academic Hospital, experiencing most critical shortages. According to Cancer Alliance and Section 27, there have been patients waiting for radiation oncology services for over 2 years now, while some have had repeated reoccurrence of their cancers as a result of not obtaining radiation oncology services.
Today's demonstration is to protest about waiting lists for people with cancer, the fact that people with cancer are dying whilst they're waiting for treatment, and the fact that the provincial government here in Johannesburg has put aside money for cancer but is not spending that money and people are dying. So those are the reasons why I'm here. You know, access to healthcare services is a constitutional right. It's a human right. So when the government fails to provide cancer treatment, they are breaking the law. So it's important to stand up and show that they are breaking the law, but it's also important, if necessary, to take them to court, to get a court to order the government to do what it should be doing. Diseases like cancer are growing all of the time in the world at the moment. Just like HIV was a huge problem 20 years ago, now we have these communicable diseases like cancer, and we have to manage them properly.
The message that I'm bringing to government is the message that I once sent again to the MEC of Health, I think it was 2022 again, that they need to give us treatment when it comes to cancer, because many of us are waiting for long. We've been there on the waiting list for a very long period of time waiting to get cancer treatment. Especially when it comes to me, I can simply say that I had 3 reoccurrences. My cancer came back 3 times, if I can put so. And I'm still waiting for radiation still. I was diagnosed with inflammatory breast cancer 2020 September. To today, I'm still waiting to receive radiation. I'm living on chemo day to day. And all they say to us is that there's a backlog. Even if Treasury did take out some money, 784 million, for them to push the backlog, but still, they refuse to give us that treatment. Hence, I'm here today to support my fellow cancer patient and also fight for myself and for my life to see my daughter grow. And
4 U.S. law enforcement officials were killed and 4 others wounded in a shootout as they carried out a warrant at a home in the southern state of North Carolina. The wanted man was later found dead on the property after he shot multiple officers, and officers returned fire. The Department of Justice confirmed that a deputy U.S. Marshal and 2 task force officers were killed in the incident. The Charlotte Mecklenburg Police Department revealed that 5 other officers were also shot, with 1 from the local police force in critical condition.
About 1:30 p.m. this afternoon, the U.S. Marshals Fugitive Task Force went to the 5000 block of Galway Avenue in an attempt to serve a warrant on an individual for possession of firearm by a convicted felon. When they approached that individual, they were met with gunfire. Officers returned gunfire and struck the victim, who was later pronounced deceased in the front yard of the residence. As officers approached that individual, they then received additional gunfire from inside of the residence. So after a long standoff,
Yemen's Houthi group said it had launched attacks on 2 U.S. warships and 2 commercial vessels linked to Israel in what it described as retaliation for U.S. and British involvement in Yemen. The group, which controls much of northern Yemen, said it targeted the American warships with drones in the Red Sea. Meanwhile, the U.S. Central Command said it intercepted 5 Houthi drones in the Red Sea. The Houthis also claimed responsibility for an attack on the Cites, a cargo vessel they say was previously blacklisted by the group for violating the Houthi ban on ships traveling to Israel ports.
انتصارا لمظلومية الشعب الفلسطيني وردا على العدوان الأمريكي البريطاني على بلدنا، نفذت القوات المسلحة اليمنية عمليات عسكرية ضد السفن الحربية المعادية في البحر الأحمر، منها استهداف مدمرتين حربيتين أمريكيتين، وذلك بعدد من الطائرات المسيرة. وقد حققت العمليات العسكرية أهدافها بنجاح بفضل الله، فيما نفذت القوات البحرية والقوات الصاروخية وسلاح الجو المسير في القوات المسلحة عملية مشتركة استهدفت.
Now let's move to business, where residents of Harare are encountering difficulties in accessing foreign currency through banks, leading them to resort to the black market. This situation has caused frustration as many essential transactions, such as rent and fuel, are priced exclusively in US dollars. Doing an appearance on the Business Edge show, Dr. Prosper Chatambara, a developmental economist, shared his insights on how the government can tackle the issue of landlords only accepting USD for rent, while salaries are partially paid in the local currency, and the government departments also demanding payment in dollars for their services.
My own thinking is that it must be a market-determined process that is actually based on the attainment of key benchmarks, including the reduction in the inflation rate. Of course, government has already said that in terms of the payment of taxes by companies, 50% is going to be paid in the local currency. And my view is that I think that's an important step. But of course, with time, I think we should begin to see more and more government services, including even the fuel actually being sold in ZIG.
The landmark beach resort in Lagos State, a renowned recreational site worth over $200 million, faces an uncertain future as it may undergo partial demolition to make space for a large coastal highway project initiated by the Nigerian government. However, critics raise concerns about the high cost, both financially and socially, associated with the project, while a pro-government group argues that the number of affected individuals is minimal compared to the millions of Nigerians who will benefit from the completed coastal roads. There are differing opinions. Mukhtar Mohammed, CEO of Asha Investment Limited, shared his insights on the speech given by the pro-government group during his appearance on the Business Head show.
Those that are pro-government, because they are not the one that have businesses there, some people's livelihood is depending on them. It's only in Nigeria that one life doesn't matter. In developed country, one life lost matter to everybody. So same with business. So I'm not saying I mean I'm in support of the Lagos Calabar Coastal Way, but it's not enough to now say those people that are there because they are just 0.00% of Nigeria. We should just tell them to hell with them. No, a lot of resources have gone up into their businesses. Those businesses take care of homes, take care of families. So we should also be considerate in doing those.
In sports, Bayelsa United secured a remarkable win against Rivers United in a rescheduled game played on Tuesday morning in Yenagoa. The game was suspended on Monday evening due to heavy rains, and it was the host that was leading the game before the suspension. Erickson Okore put Bayelsa ahead in the fourth before Kazi added or leveled the game for the Pride of Rivers. Muniru Abdurrahman netted the winning goal to hand Bayelsa United a well-deserved point. The league has been put on hold until Rivers United completed their outstanding matches. Now, two key bodies which represent U.S. athletes have written to the country's drug agency calling for a truly independent investigation after it emerged 23rd Chinese swimmers were cleared to compete at the Tokyo Games despite testing positive for the banned substance. The World Anti-Doping Agency said it was not in a position to disprove an assertion from the China Anti-Doping Agency that they had unintentionally ingested heart medication tramadozine. It began an independent review into its handling of the case after an outcry. And that's all on the news at this time, but before we go, another look at some of our top stories. We told you that court grants the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission permission to freeze over 1,000 suspicious bank accounts. IPMAN blames outdated and abandoned pipelines for shortage of petrol across the country. We also told you that magistrates threaten to down tools over pay gap in South Africa. Don't forget to send in your eyewitness report to the WhatsApp number on the screen. You can also follow us on social media. We are at News Central TV. You can watch us live on DSTV channel 422, Star Times channel 274, Avo TV, and YouTube. Many thanks for watching. I am Dakbo at Digboyi. Bye for now.